from hate. It's time for unity. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Can we talk?
Je suis tellement impatiente de vous entendre à nouveau, vous les jeunes de Toronto. Je veux connaître les défis que vous devez relever et je veux connaître aussi les possibilités qui vous sont offertes. When you include the citizens, when you include the youth, and you recognize them as part of the solutions, when we come together, we join our efforts and we work together, it delivers.
I fail to understand why students are racking up as much as $30,000 in debt for just an undergraduate degree. Myself, I'm $33,000 in debt. I know students who are over $100,000 in debt if they are pursuing a medical degree or a dentistry degree. And I fail to understand why we're not, as a society, putting more emphasis on education, on funding post-secondary education, and making sure it's accessible for youth and for people of all ages who need to attend post-secondary education.
Quand on pense à l'exode, c'est une question qui a été soulevée aussi, c'est pourquoi est-ce que les jeunes quittent la province? Principalement, on dit, bon, c'est pour l'éducation, surtout si on veut avoir l'éducation postsecondaire en français, c'est impossible pour les jeunes francophones de s'éduquer ici dans la province. Ceci étant dit, la question qui est, selon moi, un petit peu plus importante, c'est pourquoi est-ce qu'ils ne reviennent pas? Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour les attirer?
Our ancestors signed a treaty, not for themselves, but for us, right? We're the reason why they suffered. Our grandparents went to residential schools, and they survived because they thought about us. My father was murdered. He died August 25th. That's horrible. When he died, my brother had a vision. He wanted to remember my father, so he started a memorial called the Arnold Nicotine Memorial.
I never went to school. When I came from Somalia, when I came to Canada, I was sent to grade 11. You can imagine how difficult it would be a young person to go through all this stuff. But gladly, again, there are some support that helped me today to be where I am at the third year at the University of Winnipeg. There are something called transportation loan, which all immigrant and refugee families have to pay after they arrive after 1 year. It's too hard and it creates family conflict. It creates a lot of young people to go to the labor force while they're not ready, they're not finished, but their parents are saying, we have to pay, otherwise there's going to be interest. So there's certain things that I would like to raise.
Le problème que nous confronte souvent, mes jeunes surtout confrontent, c'est le fait qu'ils ne sont pas au courant des lois. Il y a quelque chose qui dit que parce que tu n'es pas au courant, ce n'est pas une excuse. C'est bien. Sauf que s'ils ne sont pas au courant, comment ils vont faire pour savoir? Je leur ai toujours proposé que c'est très simple qu'ils nous donnent une genre de liste de choses simples que les jeunes devraient savoir, comme dans un parc, comme les bancs, des choses très simples. Tu n'es pas supposé t'asseoir sur un banc. Il y a des choses qu'ils ne savent tout simplement pas. Déjà, il y a les jeunes qui roulent sur le trottoir. Tu n'es pas supposé, supposément. Mais ils ne le savent pas. D'ailleurs, les adultes ne le savent même pas. Donc, c'est des choses comme ça que je trouve qu'on devrait avoir dans les centres jeunesse déjà.
What better to change? Oh, so much. In child welfare, well, first of all, the social workers, 260 cases they have on one social worker. How is a child supposed to get the basic needs when these workers have 260 files to go through and some of them are getting them mixed up? You know, like I know from my time in social services, I would just run away because I didn't want to deal with all of the crap that I had to deal with. You know, like especially education, like this man was talking about, education within the welfare system. You know, these kids are going through so much already that education should be just something that they're given. You know,
Justice, the kids should be free
education is a big thing. And I know from myself growing up, I don't even have a grade 8 right now. And that's one thing that I push on to my kids big time, because that's the one thing that's going to get them out of the hood, out of the area, you know, out of the core neighborhoods.
I honestly think that any queer youth, or regardless of sexuality, youth should be able to go through mainstream school from JK to high school to post-secondary without having the fear of their sexuality to hold them back. They shouldn't have to... As much as we have numerous resources out there for queer youth, I still don't feel it's enough when it comes to the educational system. I feel that we are usually forgotten about. I feel that we are the last to think of, or it's just we're included in this equity group. And whereas the words of like all the derogatory words that were called and all the forms of oppression isn't really educated, and it isn't educated why it is to use, why to use derogatory terms, why it's bad to use those terms. It's not educated in the sense of why it's, what it is to be gay, what does it mean to be bisexual, what does it mean to be lesbian.
This year I was told that the treaties were stupid by someone in my class and paying me to be able to argue that they were not, because I did not have the knowledge and education required to educate myself. I plan on educating myself and have suggestions how this should be resolved as a whole. I suggest a nationwide youth group comprised of both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal members in the reserves and towns of each province of Canada. Let this group's mission be the education and personalization of the history and implications of the treaties for all. Allow this group to be able to answer the questions: how do these treaties affect me? How did they come into being? Why were they needed, and how am I a part of them? How can we implement these treaties in a good way so that they can benefit all of us together? How can we avoid the mistakes of the past and ensure that our generation and our future generations continue to work together as we are all treating people?
What's the matter is that there's funding that goes towards the prison people to be able to do art. Why the heck are we helping the youth at the beginning of it all so we don't end up with people in the jails? Why don't we start at the beginning with the youth, with the children, because they're the future, aren't they?
As a community, there's so many things we can do. One thing that, I forget the two coalition partners, the Canadian Federation of Students and one of the seniors groups in the community have been working together to try and make a home sharing cooperative where a student who is without housing could live with a senior citizen that has extra space in their house and would like to have someone living with them. So it's these kind of things as a community we could be doing to ensure we move forward on these issues, but I think that it's a broader issue that we need to work on in the entire country.
So we can, NCC, hi, we can do all kinds of amazing things to make cyclists feel like they're a part of the city, and we can have less people driving cars, and that will make our city much more fun to be in. The other amazing thing that I saw was lawns and boulevards turned into gardens. And rather than importing food, we can look at all of the green space we have here in Ottawa where we're growing lots of grass and start growing food instead and start having vibrant, local, organic food systems.
À Montréal, pendant tout l'été, il y a plusieurs événements. Vous savez, le festival de jazz, le festival Juste pour rire. Pour les petits-enfants, il y a le Eureka. Puis aussi, nous, on a une journée des enfants, mais une journée, sérieusement, pour le nombre de jeunes qu'il y a à Montréal, c'est pas assez, je trouve. Alors, je lançais comme ça, puisqu'il y a plusieurs personnalités importantes ici. On pourrait faire un festival où chaque jeune de chaque communauté pourrait démontrer leur talent, parce que juste ici, aujourd'hui, on a eu une prestation fabuleuse de danse, puis madame qui a chanté. Et sérieusement, ça serait super.
And what I would love to see, Your Excellency, is an opportunity for youth across Canada to engage in this dialogue on a regular basis. Not that it is part of
the mandate of the Right Honourable Jean, but that it lasts forever. That there is an official stakeholder comprised of youth to the Parliament Hill of Canada, and that we have that opportunity every day. I would like to see it legislated that there be a youth cabinet, a member of Parliament in every riding across the country. Thank you. And that they be empowered financially by our government to engage in this dialogue with groups across the country.
It only takes one person to stand up and speak the truth, you know what I mean? And like, for us to like come together is like, we need to come together more often and speak about these issues, because otherwise no one's gonna do it, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's gonna happen, change is not gonna happen. So thank you very much.
So one thing I will do, Your Excellency, is give a commitment here today that next month I will come back to a major town hall session at Memorial, interactive, and answer questions. The quote of the day goes to Her Excellency when she said to the students, "The world has your back." And you know, that's actually true, and you may not believe that at this point in time in your life, but we are listening. You do have our attention. That's why we're here today. That's why this forum is so important.
Quant à moi, j'ai le désir de poursuivre le dialogue, d'être présent sur le terrain et d'aller plus loin avec vous. Et pour vous le prouver, je prends devant vous aujourd'hui 2 engagements. Le premier est de vous convier à regarder votre agenda, votre BlackBerry. Et je vous place une date, le 30 octobre prochain, à un forum pour prioriser quelques idées déjà lancées aujourd'hui et de passer à l'action dès l'an 2011. Ce sera l'occasion pour vous de nous dire sur quoi travailler et de la manière que vous le souhaitez.
I believe that it's really important to continue this, to continue to open these spaces where you can come together, and I can only imagine what it would be like if we would start having, as you really suggested, a national youth dialogue going on. Because the more you will unite your voices, the more you will start networking together, the more you will join your strengths and strategies, the stronger you will be, and the more we will find people really not having a choice but to listen to you. The Michael Jean Foundation, and I'm not here advertising, I'm talking to you about the commitment, wants to support initiatives like these ones, like these, and make sure that there are people who are philanthropists, who can provide the means to really respond and support this kind of work. I think it's really essential. And I think that we need to keep that connection. It's not a farewell speech, it's an à bientôt, ensemble.